Good morning, Washington Drive parents, also known as warriors. I think you're worthy of that term right now. Being parents and teachers and coaches at home, you are definitely worthy of the term warrior. So, good morning to everybody. I hope everybody's well. Today, we are going to talk about social skills because teammate skills are really social skills. Right? And social skills are sometimes very difficult to teach. We all have them, and we don't all have them, but we try to have them. And we expect people to have them, but we don't necessarily teach them. So I wanted to do a little bit about social skills today. We're going to use a concept of teaching social skills called social thinking, which I think by far is the best way. It's the most effective way I have seen to teach social skills, which are really very abstract concepts when you think about it, because social skills have a lot to do with thinking about what other people are thinking, right? And thoughts, nobody can see thoughts. Nobody can see the thoughts I'm having. You can make smart guesses about the thoughts I'm having, but thoughts are kind of invisible. So for a lot of kids, they don't understand what another person might be thinking. So we have to kind of make that concrete for them. And I thought I would teach a little bit about social skills, because it's a huge, important part of life and about being part of a group of people, right? If you don't have social skills, you're going to stand out. But I also wanted to give you a little inspiration, because some of you might be worried about the fact that your kids are going to fall behind academically because they're not in school. I want you to let that go, because we are all in the same boat here. So I think there's going to have to be a lot of adjustments, and we're going to have to, ensure that when we go back to school, that we catch everybody up. So let that part go. And here's your inspiration. I read a book years ago called How to Raise an Adult. This is by Julie Lythcott-Haims. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Anyway, it was an excellent book. And she was a dean at Stanford University, right? One of the top universities in the country. And what she noticed was that these super smart kids would get to college, and they would not know how to get from point A to point B without texting their parent or, asking somebody. They had so many of these super smart intellectual academic skills, but no life skills. So, and I think that we have fallen into this trap about we've gotten away from teaching life skills and teaching kids how to be contributing members of society or of a team or of a family. So what this situation has afforded us the opportunity to kind of get back to that. And in some ways, maybe that's what we need to learn a little bit more. I know I've had to learn it here in my own family with my adult children. Like I said, the job chart has changed my life. And as much as my kids were resisting it a little bit in the beginning, they don't resist it anymore. And it's made the load easier. It's given us a really good meal every night that someone is in charge of cooking. It's kept the kitchen clean because one person's in charge of dishes. And it's fair and it's equitable, and we all chip in. And listen, I know your kids are young, so they're not going to be capable of cooking dinner yet or anything like that, but they are capable of contributing. And the good thing about young kids is they usually are excited to act like grown-ups, and they want to learn to do these things. So this is really a prime opportunity for you to be able to do that. So there's your inspiration for the day, that do your best with the academics, but then take advantage of these real life skills and get them involved and get organized about it. Maybe create a chart. I really encourage you to do that, because this is a perfect time for that. So I'm hoping today I'm going to give you a little bit of a framework about how to think about social skills. So the whole idea of social skills really are, we have things, behaviors that are expected, and then we have behaviors that are unexpected. Okay, that's really what it boils down to. Now, some of you are more familiar with the terms appropriate and inappropriate, but let's toss those out the window. I think it's really what's expected and unexpected, because it's really what social skills are really meant to lay down, kind of like rules or norms, and they're put there for a reason. When we have large groups of people, a classroom full of kids, right? We need a way for people to be organized, right? So that things can get done. We need a cohesiveness. We all kind of need to have, some rules and some norms that help us kind of flow through the day so we can get things accomplished. So the whole idea is, let's refer to those things as expected behaviors, expected versus unexpected. And then what we attach to that is, when we do things that are expected, people have good thoughts about us, right? And when we do things that are unexpected, people have not such good thoughts, right? I don't say bad thoughts, but they can be considered bad thoughts. They could be annoyed thoughts. They could be frustrated thoughts. So and thoughts are invisible, right? But what we're going to do today is, I'm going to show you how to make thoughts concrete. So when we say things are expected, people have good thoughts. I call good thoughts green thoughts. I use it like green and red. Like green means go, the stoplight. So if someone does something that's expected at the dinner table, I might have a green thought about you. When people do things that are unexpected, we often have red thoughts, which are not such great thoughts, right? Because you're doing something unexpected. So the whole idea is this: kids first need to understand, in any given situation, what is expected and what's unexpected. Now, for most kids, we pick this up, we learn this through almost osmosis, right? We kind of just suck it in, we kind of observe, and we're wired to be social. So for many kids, they just like learn these things naturally. We don't even have to teach them, or maybe we give a little guidance, right? We give what are good manners at the table, and be kind to each other. But for the most part, we don't teach this. And I'm seeing more and more children with social cognitive deficits, meaning they don't understand what's expected and what's unexpected. So this is a good time in your family to start teaching these things. If you have a whiteboard at home, I think this is a great way. You could write expected and unexpected, and you can start going over with your children what's expected in your home, right? What are some of those rules, or the manners, or the way we treat each other? What are you going to make expected, and what's unexpected, right? And then once a child understands what's expected and unexpected, then they need to be able to execute that. Now, that gets difficult at times. Some children are going to have a harder time with that, because that requires emotional regulation, right? So the ability to think about somebody else and think about what they might be thinking is called perspective taking. And that is what is missing in a lot of kids with executive functioning deficits, kids on the autism spectrum, kids with attentional deficits, and just young kids in general. That's why I love teaching social skills and using social thinking with young children, because they're still at the age where they're learning these things. So if any of you have David books at home, this would be a great activity. You read the David book after you've explained to them expected and unexpected, and then you have them check off, read a page, and then what David did in that page, was that expected or unexpected, right? And you can have them actually come up and check it, or use a piece of paper. I forgot my David books. They're all at school, so I don't have them here, but it's a great book. Now, the other key to this is, I love probing questions when I'm reading the David books. Why do you think that's unexpected, right? When David's reaching up on a chair to grab a glass jar that's at the top, the cookie jar, right? and things are teetering. Why is that unexpected? Right? I always love for kids to understand the why behind things, right? It's unexpected because it's unsafe. You help them process what could happen, right? So you're getting kids to kind of use those executive functions, think about what might happen, think about what kind of thoughts that's going to give his mother when the vase falls and it breaks all over the floor, what danger that puts David in, right? So there's always a reason behind the unexpected things. I always say it's not us adults just trying to be mean. It's usually trying to keep kids safe, right? To keep things neat and clean, and then we go from there. But once they understand, but social skills really require kids, right, to not just think about me. It's not a me skill, it's a we skill, right? It goes back to that. I have to think about another person, and then I have to think about what's expected in this situation, and then I need to be able to do that, which requires a lot of self-regulation. So that's why it's a great time to teach primary school kids social skills. So that's my little tidbit for the day. If you can start using those terms, teaching your children what's expected and unexpected, teach them the correlation between expected behaviors and good thoughts. And I suggest I'm going to put a template on the website so you can print these out. Normally, I would print them out in color and laminate them and have them on a stick for you, but my color printer ran out, and my laminator is at my friend's house that I lent to her, and I don't have any popsicle sticks. So I might get creative and fix this up for you next time, but you can print this out and have them color it. It's even more. There you go. There's your OT for the day, your occupational therapy. Have them color their thought bubbles while you're teaching them, and then start to use them. And if someone does something so expected that you're trying to shape, you're trying to get them to do that behavior, you just gave me such a good thought, right? And then if someone's doing something unexpected, you just might want to raise that red thought and say, what do you think I'm thinking right now, and why? And how can you change your behavior to give me a green thought, right? And then model it for your kids. Make it fun. Have them use the thought bubbles. And maybe you do something that's unexpected on purpose. Not that you would ever do anything unexpected otherwise. And have them tell you what thought they had. So now we're starting to kind of get to understand. We're making very concrete and visible what is usually invisible, which is thoughts. So anyway, that is my pep talk for the day. Do with it what you will, but start to use that language now. Get rid of inappropriate and appropriate, and use expected and unexpected, and help them classify all these behaviors. Because the trick is, what's expected in one situation might not be expected in another. So now you have language for any new situation you go into. You can start to teach them what's expected and unexpected and how to handle themselves. So you've been pep talked. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you back here tomorrow.